So for the past couple of days, I've been watering the plants outside in my backyard for my dad since he's been gone. He's really big into bonsai, and I've been taking care of them for him because nobody else is gonna do it, right? My siblings, they don't really do that, and for me, he comes to me because he knows that I would do it in a heartbeat if he just asks. And there's like hundreds of them, not gonna lie. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, but there's like at least 100 or something. And it got very like annoying to add on to my schedule because it's like 30 minutes in the morning and it has to be specific. If you know anything about watering plants, which I didn't know anything about before getting into this, I have to like not do it when the sun is completely out. That means I have to wake up early, either during sunrise or sunset. Specifically sunrise though, because you don't want the plants to go without water the whole day and dry out. Something like that, right? That's what I'm thinking as I'm doing this. And it's pretty hard. Since it's been a couple of days, I've gotten used to it, but I wanted to share this because, you know, plants and how you make them grow and like flourish into the plant that it's supposed to be, right? Very beautiful, very vibrant. It's similar to us when we want to pursue growth with our physique, with our mindset, with everything we're supposed to pursue, right? And I'm just saying this, like, if you know how to water plants and if you know how to grow them, take care of them, then it's obvious. Like, you understand that it needs enough water, it needs enough sun, and a lot of patience for it to grow and showing up consistently every single day, right? If you add too much water, then it's gonna drown. If you let it in the sun and it's too hot, it's gonna dry out and die. So that's why I teach this, you know, less is more, less is more approach to fitness. And it's literally the same way, right? You need this perfect amount of resource, but enough for it to slowly and gradually grow. And so I'm not a plant person, but as the days go by, it gets easier and easier to handle this huge load of having to do this, especially because I hate getting dirty. I hate, you know, it's like so unorganized and I gotta move the hose around and water it, but it is what it is, right? And I just think back to how I would have been in this situation and how when I first started fitness, I was going at it with excessiveness, you know, doing a lot. I was extremely passionate, but coming from a person who was very weak and powerless, I try to compensate by just doing the most because I wanted the quick results. I wanted to prove everybody wrong already. The people who doubted that I would ever get anywhere hitting the gym, right? I didn't want to be seen as that kid who's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit the gym, you know, I'm a gym guy now, like, yeah, the weights. Like, I wanted to actually see fruits of my labor, so that's why I took it very seriously at the start. 6 days a week, eating 5 meals a day. I started off skinnier, and to be honest, after like a year of that, I actually got some pretty solid results, right? But what I didn't understand is that the only reason why I was allowed to get these results was because I had absolutely no responsibilities. I was literally a teenager with no responsibilities. I woke up, doom scrolled on my phone, rushed to school or work, got home, and the first thing I did was eat like garbage for one and just play on the game, watch Netflix until 2 a.m. in the morning. You know, I had these bad habits in me. And that was it. I had literally no bills to pay. I had no people I had to take care of. Like, that's all I had to do. And that's why I could put all my time and focus in staying in the gym for 2 hours, goofing off, and, you know, doing a lot of sets and reps and all this excessiveness. Like, that's why it worked. Until, you know, right after high school when I graduated, I always knew that after fitness, I wanted to pursue my finances. And I was really thinking like, man, I don't want to be a bum in a couple of years. I want to actually figure myself out and start learning on business, right? That's the trajectory that I wanted to go towards. That's why when I heard that one of my family members has a business in Texas, I decided to move and work under them, kind of as like a shadow, like kind of like an intern type of thing, until I was able to learn a lot of fundamentals of business that can actually help me change my life. And so I was there, and trust me, they took advantage of a free worker. Eventually, of course, I got paid, but for like a week, it was just like, oh, learn the systems and then you'll actually start getting paid and all that stuff once we put you through the systems and stuff. And it's like, man, I was working for 8 hours minimum. The worst I got, 15-hour days, 6 days a week, and on Sunday I would sleep in 4 to 5 hours of sleep every single night, and I was dead ass just dealing with what a real adult would deal with. I was feeling some level of that, right? I had a taste of that. And so fitness to me was impossible because I put it in the back burner. I didn't even think about fitness or my diet or eating clean at all. I went straight back into the old habits that I used to have of eating garbage, like eating McDonald's, eating Panda Express, eating Popeyes. And that's why whatever I've built in the span of a year and a half was completely gone right after I graduated high school. And so this put me into another deep hole where I was just like, man, what the fuck? Like everything that I've done, I can't sustainably stick to my fitness goals if I have all this work on me. And I'm sure that a lot of people out there have even worse things to deal with. And that's why I preach doing less is more. The goal was always still in my head though. I still wanted to keep my physique. I needed to care about my health more than ever, being in this situation where I'm losing actual sleep, because I was never put in this situation. That's why I wanted to actually make a change and have a system in place for me to rely on so that I don't end up worse than I ever was, right? And I'm proud to say every year moving forward has been a growth year. I've learned so much. I've experienced so much. And I feel like I'm only getting better to that ideal version of myself where I'm jacked, where I have even more secure of a career, and I can actually take care of my family and the people around me and the relationships that I have. But the point I'm trying to make is what I was doing in those years was watering it too much. I gave the plant too much water and I was drowning, right? Except I only felt that after when life actually hit. You know, a plant to us, yes, we're similar in ways where we grow the same. We need the same resources, we need the patience, and we need to be consistent with it every single day or we risk it dying. We need to be consistent with ourselves every single day and do all these things or else we will lose the momentum, right? And slowly decay. Our lifespan versus a plant is very wide. And that's why when we look at it from the horizon, like you can't see when you mess up. You can only see the next day and there's literally no change. Because after a week eating the same diet, you're not going to see a change. After a month, you might see a little change. After 6 months, you might see a change. But looking back, you won't realize how much you've actually went downwards with your physique. And then eventually you'll end up being fatter, like unconfident, like not confident with the way that you look. Not the person basically, like not the guy that you want to be, right? Down the line, that's only going to happen, but you have to remember it now. The same logic applies to if you locked in today. If you're good with your diet and training, then in a week, it's not going to be really different. In a month, it's not going to be that different. In 3 months, you might see some actual change and so on and so forth. Like it's the same logic, but we never hold ourselves to the same standard as we would with the plants because we understand like, I'm trying to grow this. If I don't do it for one day, it's going to die. Right? If I don't go out there in my backyard and do it for my dad, then they're gonna die and he's gonna get extremely mad because he's put so much time and care by showing up every single morning and also every single night to take care of these plants. And I've just, abolished that. So I'm going to reap the consequences of that once he gets back. That's why I've been able to do this. But we don't hold ourselves to the same standards as these plants. Yet we still try to assume like, man, why isn't it working out for us? How come I haven't gotten anywhere if I've showed up to the gym twice a week? Because bro, twice a week isn't fucking enough. Except I'm not calling you guys to do a lot more. I'm saying that you need to do enough with consistency. That's not enough though. And so that's why I came to realize like, man, I can't be living this way where I'm allowing all this stuff to happen. I need to understand the consequences now so that I can do something now so that later is better, not worse, right? And that's why I put in a system where I was doing less, training like 3-4 days, but with more output, more exertion of myself and intensity with them because I knew I had so little, less sets, less reps, more intensity, more weights. I was on a consistent basis tracking macros and making sure that I had time to spend on that. Like, we have free time outside of our responsibilities of work, school. You know how much you have to do if you have kids. You know how much you have to do if you have a girlfriend. So the free little time that we have, why isn't it used to focus on yourself? You truly got to ask yourself that. Like, why aren't you using it to better the goals that you have so that you can get done with them faster instead of spend it doing some bullshit? I was going back to my old habits right when, life hit and I had all of these responsibilities I had to deal with when it came to work, and I had to show up, I had to do overtime and all that stuff, right? It truly consumed my life. But I never let that stop me. All right, maybe I fell off a little bit, but I had to come up with a plan. I put myself into this high stress environment and it only forced me to get better. It forced me to build out a system that helped me long term. And so you got to understand that if you know how to take care of a plant and let it grow, if you have experience with that, then you know exactly how to get into top physical shape, to look good, feel good, and have high performance in your day-to-day life, right? You just don't hold yourself to the same standard. You can't just, today's a bad day, I don't feel like watering the plants. Shit, I guess I can just, I can take a break today. No, it's literally going to die. You understand the consequences, and it's because maybe you've had many other plants where it failed and you're like, man, this plant literally died the next day and stuff. And so you're fully aware of exactly what the consequences are with this. Except with us, you only get one life. And instead of trying to learn from others, learn from the people who have gotten there that are telling you what you should do, or you're not learning through just trying to experience it and continue consistently. You just sit there, why is it not working for me? I must have bad genetics. I must be unlucky. I must be too busy. I must have not enough time for this. Like, that's such a coping mechanism that only gets you into the same spot or worse with your physique and your health. To break it down, the things that you need to actually grow with yourself physically, mentally, achieve the goals that you actually want, you have to be patient. You have to give enough resources. And that could be seen as tracking your macros, eating enough protein, right? For your target of protein, your daily target. Training in the gym consistently to stimulate the muscles and tear it down. Having enough sleep, right? And even then, the two variables that you can control is your nutrition and your training. And those would be enough. Even the bare minimum would be enough for you to get a lot of progress. But lastly, being consistent. But consistency, most people mistake as excessiveness and obsession over it. And yeah, I fell into the trap as well. But it's not the case at all, because consistency is just continuing to do it despite the bad conditions, despite the bad situation or scenario, right? You still show up day to day. You can't just have I got a bad day today, so I can't do it, right? That never gets you anywhere. You lost all the momentum. You just killed your plant, right? You need to be the one who's like, man, I'm gonna do it regardless. I'm gonna show up every single day because I remember the consequences. I remember how people would treat me. I remember how it made me feel when I looked into the mirror or when I was around my peers. I remember how weak I was, that I couldn't lift this thing up, or when I was in a physical, situation, and compared to other guys out there, I wasn't enough, right? I was at the beach. I did not like when I took off my shirt. In fact, I kept it on. You have to remember these consequences because they will always happen in your life. There's no avoiding it. Life isn't sunshine and rainbows, and if you're an adult, you understand that, right? And so you have to take control over your life and understand that it takes patience. You have to be consistent, and you need enough of the resources for you to see growth. The same way that a plant needs all these things, the same way that you need all these things, or else you stay the same, or else you kill your plant. Now whatever I do that was initially hard becomes easy, or it just becomes seamless. Now I know that I have to wake up and water these plants, and I know that it's not going to be for a very long time. My dad's going to come back, of course, right? He didn't go to grab milk or something, but it's the same way with my fitness, because understanding that I have less to do, except I still need to show up with intensity, with intentions behind my actions, then I'm like, man, I can do it. I don't even have to think. People who consistently take care of plants or take care of, you have responsibilities, you take care of something. It doesn't even have to be plants. You understand that you just do it now because you need to. You don't have to think about it. If you want to get to this point, you have to be consistent first. And remember what I said about consistency, because that's what you need. That's it. It's not confusing. It's not complicated at all. It's very simple, but it's extremely hard to stick to at the beginning because nobody wants to put in that intentional effort in the moment. It's too urgent for them. It's like, let me just easily do this, right? Let me take my time with it. But you don't have time, bro. The moment that you miss a day, you lose the momentum and you just killed that version of yourself, right? Same way as that you killed the plant. And so if you have the consistency to take care of something, if you have the consistency to brush your teeth every day, if you don't, you're fucking gross. But if you have the consistency to brush your teeth every day, or play the video games every day, every night, or watch TV, then you have the consistency to show up to the gym and track your macros to actually see true abundance physically. You just don't hold it to the same standard. Remember this when I say it. I love you guys all. I hope that this was informative. It means nothing though if you don't take action. So I hope you all do that afterwards and really see man, I gotta self-reflect. I gotta look into the mirror. I got to go to the notes and figure out how my schedule is gonna look now to actually fit this in. Because if you do that, it shows that you actually care about this deep enough and you want to make a change. I can't be the one that cares more about you than you do. I'm telling you guys this for free. I'm telling you guys because I wish somebody told me before. And so I hope that you really take it seriously and just man, I gotta do something about my life because I can't be living on autopilot like this anymore and just making the excuse, killing that newer version of myself. Right? So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.